First on the release of the material today, was there a point that the committee was trying to make with what you chose to release today?
I mean, I think we're always going to continue to release information, and so whenever we get photos or documents, we're going to release them to the public. And we think that transparency is the absolute best approach, and so we will continue to release photos, documents, emails, whatever we can release from some of the financial records. I think that's what oversight should be about, is transparency.
You said you've expressed some pessimism about how the Department of Justice will respond to the law that was passed tomorrow. Do you expect to get all the files tomorrow when the Department of Justice releases them?
Look, I think we have to look at past behavior. The reality is that from day one, President Trump and the DOJ have actually tried to hide files. They've tried to not release information. They've brought in members of Congress to lobby them to not vote to release the files. And so it's been clear that from day one, the president and the DOJ have been covering up the Epstein investigation. They've been covering up the files. And now that they're being forced to put everything out, I am hopeful. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that tomorrow we're going to get all of the files. But if we look at past behavior, I'm not sure that's going to happen. We may get a partial release. We may get highly redacted information that doesn't tell us much. Look, let's release all the files to the American public. That's the best way to put this all to rest.
How are you going to know? You've redacted some of the images of women in some of the photos you've put out. Is that to not involve them, or are those survivors?
Any image that's redacted of women either are survivors, or we may not know who they are, or to protect the women that are in those photos. So we'll continue to do that. We will never release information about women or survivors in any of the files.
And Congressman, I understand that it is the law and that the DOJ has to respond and release those files by tomorrow, but in the event that they don't, what recourse will you take, will Congress take?
First of all, everything's going to be on the table. And so let's be very clear that the Department of Justice has to release all of the files tomorrow.
But what are some of those options on the table?
And I also want to remind the Attorney General that she cannot use an excuse that somehow the law says that if there's an investigation happening, we can, partially not release everything. The subpoena that's in place, that's essentially with the law that oversight passed, does not include that provision. They have to release everything. We will use every tool available to us, including if we need to go to the courts and if we need to take legal action to get the files released, we're prepared to do that, but we're going to see what happens tomorrow.
How will you know if something isn't released?
Well,
know what's in there,
we don't, but let me just say that there are hundreds of civil servants and FBI agents that have worked to put these files together. Good, hardworking, patriotic men and women, Americans that love their country, and that have worked to put these files together. And if things aren't released or things are missing, we're hopeful that that will come out, because we understand that people are at the FBI are putting pressure to ensure that everything comes out the right way.
And sir, you released more of the 95,000 photos that you've gotten from the estate today. Are there more that you're still going through, and do you anticipate to release more from that batch?
I'll say this, there's about 95,000 pictures. We've probably gone through 75% of all the photos. We expect that by next week, all the pictures will be reviewed, and then we'll put out additional photos. And I think what we've tried to also do, certainly the most disturbing photos are certainly the ones that are more sexual in nature. We're having conversations about the best way to deal with those and talking to the lawyers and the survivor groups, because we want to be very cautious of the trauma that the survivors are going through. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia.
Thank you.
Do you have any reaction to the Minnesota scandal and the oversight committee's looking into that?
I know Comer's looking at that stuff. Right now we're focused on Epstein files. Thank you.